Over the past 4 years, I've worked with dozens of people to resolve triggers and heal subconscious wounds. Many of them have been in therapy for years beforehand, but it didn't help them. Here is why. When you are in therapy, often what happens is that you just talk about your problem and try to logically understand it. But the issue is that subconscious wounds and trauma root in your subconscious, and your subconscious does not communicate in logic. Now, I'm not saying that talking about your problems can never help you, but if you are stuck, this is why. Let me show you how that works. Now, maybe you can already guess what I'm drawing here, and not what you think. Get out of here with your mind. Alright, now it maybe gets a little bit clearer. What I'm drawing here is obviously a perfect one-to-one picture of your brain. It's basically a picture. Alright, when we look at your brain, there are 3 parts to it. First, we have your reptilian brain right here, or your instinctual brain. This is your brain stem basically. This evolved first. This is the oldest part of your brain. On top of that, we have your mammalian brain or your emotional brain. This layer evolved second. And then the youngest and newest part of your brain is your logical thinking brain, your neocortex. When you are here right now, you're watching this video, your neocortex is going, oh yes, that makes sense, or it's going, this dude is full of crap. Whatever it is, this is what your neocortex is doing, your logical thinking brain. When we talk about trauma though, trauma has nothing to do with your neocortex. Actually, let me take this other pen here. I don't even know if you can see the different colors, but just for me. When you deal with trauma, it has nothing to do with your neocortex. You cannot logically think your way out of trauma because it roots in these parts of your brain, in your instinctual and emotional brain, right there. So when you think about your trauma, think about your triggers, you maybe gain a great understanding of it, but logic will not help you to resolve it, because these parts of your brain, your subconscious, so to speak, does not communicate logically. Now, I should say here, this is simplified, right? This is not how it actually in all complexity works and looks like. This is simplified just for teaching. So take this for what it is, but this is simplified your subconscious. And trauma, let's write a T here for trauma, roots right here, subconsciously. This is why you have people who go to therapy for years and years and nothing changes and they are still triggered the same way. I had quite a few clients actually who have been in therapy for over 10 years. Imagine that, for over a decade, and they were still triggered in the exact same way. Now, they had better coping mechanisms, better behavior strategies to deal with it, but the triggers were still there. Why? Because they just logically talked about their brain and thought about it with their neocortex. But they never worked subconsciously on healing it with this part of their brain, which is what you need to do when you want to resolve trauma. For many people, this is hard to do because we engage in our logical brain all the time. I personally, maybe a bit to my background, I studied chemical and environmental engineering at one point. So I have a very logical, analytical brain. When I first got into this, into subconscious healing, subconscious techniques like hypnosis, which is what I use now, I was like, this is bullshit, this cannot work, this makes no logical sense. And it doesn't, it shouldn't, because it's just for your subconscious. But I couldn't deny the amazing results that I saw. So I got into it, I worked with it, and yeah, it gets amazing results. And it actually resolves trauma on the subconscious level. Alright, I hope that makes sense and you understand everything. If not, let me know in the comments and tell me every question that you may have. But now that you understand that you cannot work through trauma with logic, that you cannot think your way out of trauma and triggers, let's take a deeper look at how trauma actually ingrains in the brain and how you can work through it and actually resolve it so that it never comes back in the video right over there.